Alright, got another anime review for you. Season 3 of one of the series I've been following on this channel. And that season 3, the series that I'm following Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon? Yes, we're back. It's still on Hulu. This is all subs. I didn't watch it dub because dub is not out. But for the most part, I had high points of this season. I had low points of this season. Points where I felt like it was dragging out. And points that just made me like, and I'm ready to talk about it on this episode, movie breakdown, series review. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdown Series Review. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's Movie Breakdown Series Review? It's a movie review series, anime review series, TV show review series. We'll look at each individual season, give them a grade A through L, plus and minus do count, and then we'll do an overall grade as well for the complete series. Give it an A through L, plus and minus do count. And there's a season, series, or show you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below, and I get to it as best I can. Also, have a Patreon. Patreon/Ali Zakka, and on that Patreon you get to cut in front of everybody. It's only $2 a month. Cut in front of everybody, and wherever you ask me to review, I go ahead and do it and put it out there way ahead of everybody. You get to see it way before it comes out on YouTube and Facebook because Patreon gets stuff first. Also, you get trade reaction, trade reviews, first thoughts, and much more stuff. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode of Movie Breakdown Series Review of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon Season 3. This is a spoiler review, so you haven't seen Season 3, stop, go watch it on Hulu, and I think Crunchyroll has it, but Hulu I watched it on, so go watch it, come back, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, what is this season about? This season kind of flips the dynamic of the story around a little bit. Bale and his familia has now met a monster that can speak, a monster that has feelings, a monster that has intelligence. And when Bale rescues her from danger, he tries to find a way to help her stay in the world he lives in, find a way to keep her from going back to the dungeon. He tried a way to find his hardest to protect this monster that he cares for, that has intelligence, and the monster that he cares for also loves Bale and doesn't shy away from telling him that. So there's a connection there, and pretty much like the Beauty and the Beast scenario, but instead of the guy being the beast, it's the girl that's the beast situation. That's what it really is, what it comes down to. And this show picks on topics like, just because they look different than you, just because they're not the same as you, doesn't mean you can't trust them. Just because we're fighting a version of monsters that are killers and that are trying to kill people, and then we meet a version of monsters that are intelligent and are kind-hearted, like, it's okay to accept those monsters. And this show talks about that topic, and Bale and his familiar really grows to that. Matter of fact, the only one who actually questions any of it is Lily. Lily is the only one who really questions, like, is it possible to have monsters and humans coexist, while Belle's like, hey, she's kind-hearted, she can talk, she can speak, and she's in danger, I'm going to help her out. And Hestia and the rest of the familia, they're just like, cool, we're going along with it. Belle, we got your back. We're here because of you. So that's what this season's about. And it's 12 episodes this season, just like all the other ones. And there are parts where I feel like things happen just to progress the season along. Like, for example, there's a scene where Winnie overhears Lily and the rest of the Hestia familia talking about, we gotta get rid of her. She can't be with us. It's not safe. If it gets out, the public will be in danger. Our family will be destroyed. And Winnie just starts running. She runs away and then tries to save a girl at an apple cart and reveals to everybody that she's a monster. Now, Winnie didn't need to run. She could have confronted Lily, said something, but no, she just got up and left and just ran into the city, which was like, all right, you just went there for plot, to get the plot going, and then they got to get her back to the dungeon. So that kind of bugged me, but then there's certain parts where it's just like I feel like the season dragged a little bit. Like we knew that, you know, Winnie had to get back to the dungeon, but then they'll add another piece in there. They're like, oh, well, now I gotta go save Winnie again because Winnie is, you know, fighting these monsters, or Winnie somehow transforms and then Belle gotta chase up to the surface and find a way to not let her get killed and then transfer her back. And oh, bring Lily back to life scenario. Like, okay, well, sure, I think you need to really have her die for this moment to be trustworthy, because everybody already knew Belle was somebody to trust. He's been protecting her the whole time. Whoever saw this, yet you gotta have her die. Like, why you add that scene in there? It's a very powerful scene, by the way. That scene is very powerful, the resurrection scene, but I also thought it was a little unnecessary as far as the whole storyline. Another thing that I enjoyed though was some of the callbacks though. I enjoyed when Winnie transforms and Belle grabs her the same way he grabbed her when she first met him, or when she first cut him. Like, that scene is powerful. The scene where Lily does cut him for the very first time, that scene is also like, oh, it was such a juxtaposition to the scene that was going on. It was a peaceful, they're hanging out, relaxful scene. Then Lily cuts Belle, and like the tone and everything shifts, but Belle doesn't lose his composure and demeanor, doesn't freak out. He's just like, hey, it happens, I'll be okay. Thought that was kind of cool. Thought it was really cool. The animation's up there strong in this season. You have monsters that talk and their mouth doesn't move, but they're just talking, so their mouth is open. You have some drawings that look like it's not as crisp and clean as other anime I've been watching. It's just like, it's okay. It's okay. It's not gonna blow you out the water, but it's also not gonna be like, man, it's okay animation. Villains. The villain this season is, you don't care. You're like, you know, the organization is capturing monsters, torturing monsters, so you know they're bad guys. But then when he like gives his whole backstory, you're just like, why? Why is this necessary? Kind of like in One Punch Man, when the villains start revealing their backstory to Saitama, he just like zones out. That's what I felt like Belle could have did when he was telling him all this stuff, because it didn't really amount to anything, and the guy got away. So like, I don't know. It seemed, or he got away in the fight scene, I should say, but it just seemed like, exposition dump to give the people at home to see like, okay, but at the end of the day, it didn't really matter to me. I did like the tension between the Lokia Familia and the Hestia Familia, where the Lokia Familia did not care if the monsters had intelligence or not. They were trying to wipe them all out, because there's a point where the monsters get stuck on the surface, and they gotta get back into the dungeon with the help of Hestia Familia. And I do like how when Eyes and Belle finally confront each other in the like last 2 episodes of the season, I thought it was a really powerful moment, and it's something they play back on from the first 2 seasons, where like, especially season 1 where Belle is getting trained by Eyes, and you finally get to see them like confront each other again. And Eyes is, in this season, she is there to have some cool fight scenes, but for the most part, she's not really that big of an influence like she was in season 2 and season 1. She's just kind of like there at the end of it all to be like, I just gotta do my job, man. You're in the way. Also, we get the Minotaur. The Minotaur returns from season 1, who apparently seems to remember Belle from season 1. The monsters in the dungeons, they get killed so many times they get reincarnated, and sometimes they get reincarnated as the intelligent monster. Well, the Minotaur got reincarnated as the intelligent Minotaur, and he holds a grudge against Belle for the thrill of the fight. And they have a moment at the end of the season where I'm like, oh man, this is great. This is actually a pretty like big moment that unfortunately the buildup of it relied on season 1. not season 2 or 3. And if you didn't watch season 1, you'd be like, I don't care about this Minotaur. Like, matter of fact, he didn't really talk or say anything until the last episode when he confronted Bell. He just showed up, and you're thinking like, oh, it's another big bad dumb monster that they'll have to fight. In reality, he's actually like one of the strongest monsters in the intelligent clan. Like, it's like, or the Xenos, what they call them, the Xenos, one of the strongest monsters in the Xenos, and he pretty much waiting for the day to fight Bell again. Which you're like, oh, it'd been neat. They introduced him early in the season. That way you at least have some kind of like growth with him, like kind of like Garo in One Punch Man season 2, where you got growth with Garo throughout this whole season. And when he finally, like, he didn't confront Saitama, but he does fight Genos, and you see like his reason why. We could have got there with the Black Minotaur. It would have made that final fight scene more, I guess, impactful. And with that, the way that season 3 ended, I thought it was kind of cool how Bell doesn't come out on top in this season. At the end of it, he loses, and you're like, oh man, his first big loss in season 1. Like, he's been taking wins from season 1 all the way till this season. No matter what he did, he always came out on top. Even with the moments where people thought he was doing something stupid or making himself look foolish or something that contradicts the normal way of life in the series. And this season, season 3, he still got the respect from everybody back. He didn't really lose anything. Everybody got the status quo went back to normal at the end of season 3, except for Bell losing, which I was like, okay, the hero journeys continues. I like that. Okay, before I start talking about characters, I do want to talk about the production and when this season came out. Season 3 came out in the end of 2020, and it's produced by JC Staff, the same company that made One Punch Man Season 2, or produced One Punch Man Season 2. So there are some things when I watched this season, and apparently that Season 2 and Season 1 was also created by JC Staff, which for some reason the animation in those 2 seasons look completely different than the animation in season 3. I did read that, COVID did play a hand on season 3, so that could be a strong reason why. There is going to be a 4th season of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon? So we'll see how that works out and what that season's about. But yeah, I definitely want to talk about that and just kind of give a mention to that production company for this season. And let's go ahead and talk about characters. So let's start off with Bell Canal, who is your main protagonist. He's still the main protagonist. It's still his story. In this season, he's not as of a wimp as he was in season 1. He definitely has more backbone. He's definitely not afraid to stand up for what he believes in. Even at times that it seems like he is questioning what he need to do, or if he doesn't want to make himself look in a bad light, he is questioning himself. He still steps up and still tries to protect Winnie and the Xenos in this series, in this season. So he's really like the guy to get behind, which is funny because in the manga, I am reading the manga, and in the manga, his personality is a lot different than it is on the show. The show can get behind his personality. In the manga, he's just nothing but a girl crazy boy who was like, I can get stronger, I get to see more girlfriends. But in the show, he's like, the thought of a girl rushing up to him and like messing with him and trying to talk to him is like making him blush. And he has a shy side, but when it comes to what he believes is right and wrong, he's willing to step up and fight for it regardless. And he does that, put himself and the rest of his friends on the line in this season. And he has moments where he's conflicted about that. Bell's a solid character to get behind. Lily is like, if Bell is the good and everything, Lily is not the bad, but she is definitely devil's advocate. She's gonna say something to get you to think about a certain situation, get your mind to go a different way. She's not always so gung-ho as, Bell and the rest of the group, but Lily does play a good antagonist to Bell in the situation going on at first, and kind of add a little tension. But at the end of the season, her thought process just pretty much falls in line with everybody else. She doesn't really have that, like, we shouldn't be doing this kind of mentality anymore. It's just like, all right, well, if everybody else is jumping in, I'm going to jump in with you guys. Wealth, he is like the backup guy. Like, he's there, he's willing to support, and I don't know, I thought he was kind of cool being in it. Mikoto, she's there, thought she was cool, helping out. She still doesn't have like a strong, like, besides somebody who's willing to help out Belle and be there for her friends, she doesn't have that strong arc that she had in the other ones. And Haruhime, I'm actually happy that Haruhime have a better story in season 3. She gets more light shine on her. She's just not just the damsel in distress that got saved in season 2. No, she's actually like a part of the family, and it does feel like they're all together, all friends. They all hang out. They all like to be around each other. I do give it props to that, and each one does impact the familiar. They do add value to the familiar. They're not just there in the background getting written off. I do appreciate that. And then, of course, Hestia in this season, she's more of a, like, strong-minded leader. She's not being this guy crazy, but guy crazy, like, nobody can talk to Belle or get jealous when Belle does stuff now. Belle taking care of Winnie, she's not getting jealous. She's not like losing her temper because of it. Like in season 1, she definitely was losing her temper if any girl even hugs Belle. And this season, she's more laid back and subdued, and probably because there's so much going on here. But she's not that character in the first season. She matured in this season. Other Xenos, you have Winnie. Winnie is a character who, she brand new, like, monster, intelligent monster, dragon monster, who she is, you know, scared, but also learning the world around her. She's learning what it means to see compassion, that all humans are not bad humans. She pretty much your character who grows with what's going on. The only thing is like, she was scared and wasn't sure of herself the whole time until she dies, and then when she comes back, she's like, her mentality and confidence completely switch. It like happened instantly where she was like, I'm going to, you know, step up and do this and take my nap out and save somebody, which was almost opposite of what happened before she died. But the character Winnie, I didn't mind. I actually like Winnie as a character and wanted her to join the family, wanted her to be around more. The scene where she takes her wing off and her nails off was like, oh my gosh. Like, I was like, oh. But it was such a powerful scene in this anime to show that, like, you talk bad about my stuff, like you talk bad about my features, but I'm gonna show you that I'm just like you. I have wings and nails, but that doesn't matter. I do like that. I do like that moment, and I like the moment where Eyes like takes a step back and it's like, what the heck is going on here? Lidi, who is another Xenos, he's like a reptile Xenos. I thought he was cool. I don't know, I thought he was just a cool character. He was alright. He's the more common-minded of the Xenos that can talk with Loki and talk with, you know, Belle and have conversations with him. And then you got Glaus. He's more of a Gargoyle character. I thought he's gonna be the one who really sets like the screw humans, we're gonna take over kind of mentality. I thought this anime was gonna go down that storyline, and it doesn't. It kind of starts to, thanks to him, but it doesn't. He really just helps out in the end. Thought he was a cool character as well. Asteris, the Black Minotaur, for being a big bad at the end of the season for, you know, Belle to fight. It was just kind of like, we just need a big fight at the end of the season. For the most part, he didn't say much. He was just there until that final fight where he was like, this is the moment I've been waiting for. If they would have had that played out throughout the rest of the season, maybe it would have meant more. Yeah, Hermes in the Hermes Familia. So Hermes, he is still, his motives to me are still questionable. It's like he's there, he's like trying to help Belle out, but really he's doing his own things to help his best interest. And I don't know where they're going with his character. And there's times where he keeps trying to make Belle seem like this showcase of heroes, and then there's times where it doesn't play out that way. And I'm really curious to see how that goes with Hermes. But with Hermes, you got Aisha, who's back. She is still around, so it's kind of cool seeing her from season 2. And I do like how they roll over from certain seasons. They're not just, you know, one season and done. Characters do come back. Freya, she is still around, but I don't know what her point is at this point. Like, I don't know why she's here. I thought she was going to be the big bag of the series. She is not. She's just around, and for the most part, she's just watching. Like, she was on the sidelines most of the season, and you're just like, okay, so why? Ice for Loki Familia. Ice, once again, she was kind of like on the sidelines as well until the very end of the season, where she makes her appearance and kind of like, you know, got to confront Belle, but she was there. There's not much else growth with her. Like, I thought because of season 2, we were going to get much more impact, much more growth with her in this season. The anime opening made it seem like you're going to get much more of an impact with her, and you don't. She's just there. Ikilos, he is like the main antagonist god for this season, but for the most part, like, he confronts Belle one time, but if really the rest of his family did the dirty work, he was just like, I'm just letting them do their things. I don't care if they're bad or good. They just do whatever. And Uranus, he was kind of like watching over everything. He's like they could tell, like one of the top guys in ranking. For the most part, it seemed like he never got himself dirty, but he told other people to do what he want to be done. And, you know, the Hestia Familia got wrapped up in this, and he still just kind of sat back and watch everything. You have Dix, who was kind of like, you thought was going to be the big bag as well. Like, you thought Ikios was stepping aside and hitting really all the things ran by Dix, but in reality, Dix was just like, when you finally get to him and they finally fight him, just like, okay. And he gets beat and runs off in the middle of the season, and you're just like, all right. So it's not really like a main antagonist. It's more of the situation that's going on. Ryu is one of my favorite characters. She worked for Big Mama and Mama Mia in the shop. She's still one of my favorite characters. I really wish she would join the Hestia Familia, but she always still looked out for Belle. And Sari, I probably pronounced her name wrong, but she's just kind of there. She's there in season 1, season 2, but in this season she really has Belle's back and really talks Belle through stuff that he's going through. I think those two characters are solid. And Ina, in the manga, by the way, has more feelings for Belle. In the anime, it really shows out in season 3. But it almost comes like out of nowhere in this season. But if you read the manga, you know why she's acting the way she acts in this season. I thought adding upon her in this season, making her show that like she cares for Belle more than just being like his guild leader, his guild what's the word? Not the leader, but kind of like not secretary. I can't think of the name of it right now. I was gonna hit me later on. But somebody who guides him to give him like advisor. There it is. His guild advisor. She actually has feelings for Belle, and it really shows out in this season. And when Belle protects her at the end, it's like, oh, he cares for her, but he cares for her as a friend. But that doesn't really show in season 1 and 2. It really shows out in this season. And then you got Fels. Fels is the last one I'll talk about. So Fels is like a Grim Reaper kind of character. He figured out eternal life, or she figured out eternal life, and pretty much they're the god of Xenos, and keep an eye on them for Uranus, and that's pretty much it. Does have some big impactful moments in this season. Belle and Fels work together a lot in this season to try to help the Xenos, and for the most part gives like exposition and be like your guide as a person watching the anime to what's actually going on. I think Fels is done right. I thought Fels was done correctly. And yeah, that feels a good character for this season. Anything else I want to talk about here? Music. The music is, you'll notice it at certain points, and at certain times you don't notice it. They do bring music back from season 1 to season 2, which props to them for doing that, keeping that continuity going. To me, it's good music. Like, there's some songs I heard, I was like, I actually want to go listen to that song right now and get the OST for this season. But it's other stuff where it's just like, okay, it's fine, it's fine. So it's fine with me. If this is a season you should watch, I'm on the fence. I'm saying yes or no. It depends on what season 4 brings. If the events in season 3 plays into season 4, yes. If it doesn't, there's definitely moments you should watch. Like the moments where Belle meets Winnie for the first time and Winnie becomes part of like the familia, and then like the last part where Winnie escapes because the Ikkyo's familia let them go, let all the Xenos go to the top, and Winnie escapes and they gotta try to get the Xenos back underground, back to the dungeon. I think those scenes are very, very much important to watch to figure out like how the dynamic works and how the world looks. But like that middle section of this season, just like, it's not that strong to me. So I'm on the fence. I would say if you're a fan of the series, definitely watch this season. If you're not a fan of the series, I don't think you'll be impacted by not watching it. We just gotta see what season 4 looks like. If season 4 is completely different and doesn't bring any hints back to season 3, then you're just like, I definitely would say the Black Minotaur fight at the end you should watch, because that is something that is built upon from season 1. That's almost not talked about at all season 2 or season 3 for the most part until the end. I think that part you should definitely watch that fight, because you know in season 4 they talked about they'll have one more bout. They said it, so like, that's one thing you should actually pay attention to. As far as everybody else, this is more of an impact. This season is more of an impact of the world itself, not really a character growth moment. Like, I feel like all the characters in this season, their mentality, their mindset, besides seeing like, oh, monsters can have intelligence, and learning about that doesn't affect, I feel like it doesn't affect their mindset. They're still kind-hearted people that have been that way since season 1 and 2. That's why they're this familiar together. So that's my thoughts on it. I'm on the fence. Grading time. I'm going to grade season 3 of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon a solid C. I was on the verge of a C plus or a C, but it's a C for me, 75%. It's solid. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to watch it. You're going to have some good times with it. Also be like, it's okay. It's not be like, I can't watch this. It's horrible. No, it's a solid season. You're going to enjoy it. Your moments where you're like, oh my gosh, that's actually happening, to moments where you're like, okay, cool. I do want to listen to it in dub, because I'm curious to see how the characters sound in dub and the difference between the suspense in sub and dub. I do want to listen to that. So when they make the dub version of it, if they do, I'm excited for it. As far as season 4, they're making it in January. So that's what I read, with January 2022. So we got a few more months before season 4 comes out, and I'm curious to see where the story keeps going. I don't know if the world building in this is why they lay down groundworks in certain seasons, but it's like they mention it in season 1 and season 2, but don't hit it in season 3. And then season 3 happens, you're like, well, what's going on with Eyes, and what's going on with Freya, and what's going on with all these other things that was such a big part in this season, in season 2, that season 3 just like, we'll deal with that later. Here's a whole new situation here, and we're going forward with this. So yeah, it's a C for me. If you guys seen Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon season 3, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys next episode when we break down series review, and keep being awesome. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, you want to see what else I'm doing in my normal life and other things that's going on, please follow me on Instagram at Ali_Zakka. I'll put it right here around my face. Yep, right there. Also, if you want more episodes of movie breakdowns or grind towards success or whatever it is I'm doing on YouTube, you know what? Follow my page right here, like I said before, the little comment thing right there, And then you can watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns right here, and watch the last episode of Grind Towards Success right there. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate y'all. See y'all next time, and keep being awesome.